I know, that's what I thought too when it's been like, really? It's only 7%? And we focus so much on what to say and using the words and all that stuff, and only 7% of communication on the words, are only 7%, okay? Which means 93% is nonverbal. The impact is 93% nonverbal. Let's do a little demonstration. I want you to have your right arm, just pull your right arm up like that. Just don't poke someone's eye, please, okay? All right, very good. Everybody has your right arm up, okay? Okay, so what I want you to do right now is I want you to bring your arm straight to your chin. Interesting. I'll say around 70% brought it to the cheek, though I said bring it to the chin. I tricked you. What does that say? What does that mean? Exactly. The visual cue is what you go after, not the actual words. We didn't listen to the words. You went with what I did, with my action, which says that action speaks louder than words, doesn't it? Okay? So body language is much more important, much more powerful than the words we say. All right, go over again. So, what's the communication? What's the percentage for body language? For body language, 93% is nonverbal, which is the body language and the tone of voice together. The body language by itself is 55% of communication, folks. So if you just manage your body language, if you just focus on your body language, you're going to increase your communication by double. Does that make sense? Okay? 38% is your tone of voice, and only 7% are the words. That's not in your workbook, so just take notes of that. Okay? This is a structure we're going to building upon for the next couple of days. We're building foundation right now as we're going to keep inputting resources. Okay? What questions do you have on this model? Anything is unclear before we go further? Yes, Juan. This is okay for the face-to-face. Okay, that's where the body language is. But if you're on the phone, you're not seeing the body language. We're going to talk about that. Very good one. Very good distinction. Especially email. And email, what's the percentage we're using? 7. How much? 7%, which means what? You're not really getting your message across. That's why there's a lot of misinterpretation. There's a lot of conflict in email. How many of you experienced a lot of conflict in email on misinterpretation, miscommunication? Okay? Now you know why. You're only communicating 7% in your email or your text messages in that matter. That's why it's best option to do what? When there's any conflict or something that you want to elaborate on, or pick face-to-face is the best. If that's not an option, what do? Pick up the phone and call them. Now you're using 38%. Okay? Very good. And you leave email to the last resort. Okay? Email is supposed to be a tool that we can just send communication across, not argue about a point or share our feelings about a point. Okay? We're going to talk about email later in details. Okay, very good. So now what? Since we know that body language is the most important, let's just talk about body language right now. Okay? What is a proper body language? What is not a proper body language? Okay? So, with body language, starting all the way, we're going to start all the way from top to bottom. Okay? For what we communicate to other people. Okay? So, what is the first thing we communicate through from top to bottom? What do we communicate through? Eye contact. Okay. We keep hearing about eye contact. It's important. Eye contact is important, especially in our culture in North America. Yes? Okay. Now, I don't know about you folks, but my dad used to tell me that if you're communicating with someone and they're not looking you in the eye, they probably are what? Lying, right? How many of you heard that before? Okay? So, my question to you is this. Don't you think liars know that? So what do they do instead? They stare. At least the good ones, they stare at you when they're lying, right? Okay. So in order for you to kind of be able to keep that in mind, okay, there's a study has shown that when you're communicating, when you're laying eye contact, you want to keep it for 5 seconds. What's the number? 5 seconds. Meaning what? You keep 5 seconds and then you look away. The study says that anything less than 5 seconds of eye contact, you come across as incompetent, or you're hiding something, or you're lying, pretty much. Okay? And anything more than 5 seconds, you come across as a creep. Right? So you want to keep around 5 seconds. Now the question is, would that apply if you're the speaker or you're the listener? Which one do you think? You're speaker, right? Because if you're the listener and you are looking away, how that could be misinterpreted? Then you're not paying attention, you're not interested. Okay? Can everybody see that? Okay? So if you're the speaker, you maintain eye contact for 5 seconds. Obviously, you're not going to like time it, but you kind of like average it, right? And then you gather your thoughts. And when you gather your thoughts, you come back. And this happens usually unconsciously. Okay? All right. But if you're the listener, it's important to maintain eye contact with the speaker as long as they're maintaining eye contact with you. Simple. You mirror them. We're going to talk about the distinction called matching and mirroring in a little bit. But for now, you just want to mirror them. Okay? They're maintaining eye contact with you. You maintain eye contact with them. They're looking away. You look away. Why? Because there's cultural differences, folks. Okay? Here in North America, it's good to maintain eye contact. It says, you know, you gotta like maintain eye contact so people can trust you. Okay? But in other cultures, it's actually the opposite. If you maintain eye contact with someone, that means if you are disrespectful, you try to dominate them. Let me give you an example. I was in Albuquerque when I first started my career. It's like 2.5, 3 years ago. And I was in a seminar, and I noticed people were not getting engaged. So I was doing my thing, and just like having fun, excited, and all that, and just people, they're just like not raising their hand, they're not communicating, they're not looking even, I'm looking at them, they look away. It's like, wow, they don't like me, they don't like, you know, the topic, I'm not doing a good job. I went in my head, okay? So at the next break, I go out, and one of the participants come over, and he's like, you know what, we're really, really enjoying this, right? That rapport exercise is awesome, we're loving it. I was like, really? I kind of didn't get that from everybody else, but thanks for sharing. And he goes, why? It was like, well, people were not engaged, they're looking away. He says, well, listen, 80 to 90% of, you know, the crowd are Navajo Nation, okay? Native Americans. It's part of the culture that they don't maintain eye contact with you, because it's not because they're hiding something or they're lying, it's just because matter of respect, okay?